term. Mm-hmm. 4 years ago we met.
We met 6 years ago when I ran the first time, and then we ran again 4 years ago when we met.
I can't even remember. I'm telling you, so many of you guys and gals. I mean, Sean is running, of course, for seeking a re-election for a second term to Murfreesboro City Council. How are you doing?
It's going good so far. Hope the momentum keeps up, and the people
Right.
in Murfreesboro still have faith that I can take care of them the way they need to be taken care
Sure.
of.
And we're going to talk about that more and more. We're going to give Sean as much as we can here for the balance of the hour. Jackson's back with us, back on the board. Been out for a couple of weeks. Missed you. Glad to have you back. And I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. But for right now, my name is Edwin Lee Raymer. Sean Wright is our guest. Jackson's on the board. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS.
Thank you very much. That's a little rock and roll to kick you off. And this is Edwin Lee Raymer Show, and I'm your host, Ed Raymer, once again. And this show is produced at the studios, WGNS AM 1450, 100.5, 101.9 FM, right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And you can reach me and Sean tonight. You can reach Sean with your questions, comments, your thoughts at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. And you can also send us a text to that number. Jackson will be glad to read it to us in the form of a question, or he'll give it to me, and Sean will read it if some of you are a little bit too shy to go on the air live. We understand some of you might not want to do that. Now, you can listen to us a number of ways. Number one, the good old-fashioned radio. That is the square receptacle or rectangular shaped object probably in your car in the dash. It's called a radio. I don't know if any of you ever use it anymore. And you can pull it up on AM at 1450 or FM at 100.5 and 101.9 FM. And those are two good signals. We simulcast over 3 frequencies. Now, you can pick us up on YouTube. We're on there live right now at News Radio WGNS. Or if you want to watch some of our older shows, and many of you do, because I run into you through the week, and hey, I listen to you Tuesday afternoon at work or whatever, and all that good show, bad show, whatever, and hopefully it'll be a good broadcast. But you can reach us there on YouTube with all the shows we've done since we've been broadcasting live on YouTube. You can also watch us on Facebook Live. YouTube is best. My wife listens sometimes because she probably sees enough of me at home. Bless her heart. But she'll listen on Alexa. And someone, John Williamson, wrote, he's been trying to reach on something here. I'm sorry. And John, I forget, but I'll look into that and see it on another source. I didn't have time to look at it today. And Larry Cawthorn, hello, how are you? Carol Ann Elmore's down in Chattanooga. She's listening. She's one of our fans that are from somewhat out of the county. We've got fans, all my family in southern Kentucky, western Kentucky. Thank you. And those are ways you can get us. You can get us through Stitcher, through so many other ways. You can find Sean on the radio if you just go to search a little bit. It's pretty wide open for everyone nowadays. Now, let's get to. Okay, you're still mad at your family, so you're going to run for a second term.
I don't know how they convinced me to do it. No, serving the city of Murfreesboro is very important to me. I'm a 7th generation Murfreesboroian myself,
right.
And
right.
The community's been really great to my family over the years, and my family's had businesses downtown Murfreesboro for over 100 years, and I have a lot of passion for the city of Murfreesboro, so it's good. It's my way of giving back.
And you do, because there's no secret. You all are in real estate, and are you in construction?
I am not. I have uncles in construction, but I am not.
Yeah. But the real estate business, you own several properties. I think you lease out a few, or
My uncles do. I don't. I own the house I live in. That's it.
that's it. Okay, okay. And what are you all working on with the city right now? Why, and you're doing this seriously. I mean, you're certainly not doing it for the money.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple of councilmen and former councilmen. It's certainly not the money.
No,
okay.
it's not.
It's not like you're gonna get rich doing this. What's going on?
So 4 years ago, I mean, I sat in this same seat, and I told you my important things for me were catching up on infrastructure, taking care of some waste management stuff that we need to take care of, continuing the growth in Murfreesboro, but doing it more smartly. And I think we've accomplished all of those goals the past 4 years. We've spent over
Right.
$80 million on road projects, and people in Murfreesboro, I understand that there was traffic still may be there, but these road projects, once they get done and those orange barrels come off the road, it is going to be amazing.
It's fantastic. And one of the projects that's going on right now is out by the jail, 940 Salem Pike. And when that gets finished, and I drove out there, I was driving out there the other night, and I said, this is such a pain. But immediately I thought, when they're done, this is going to be nice.
And it looks like they're about ready to start paving. And
Yeah.
and if
they're getting there.
And if you looked at the other part, once they started paving, it wasn't long before that road was open.
Right.
So once 99 gets paved, we've seed money to the state for Old Fort Parkway, which is 96, for 6 lanes going from 99 all the way to Veterans. We've got seed money in for 96 going in Las Casas Highway going from Middle Tennessee to Compton Road. We've got money in place and approval for Medical Center Parkway to be widened to 6 lanes.
Right.
And we've got another bridge that's going to cross the interstate connecting Warrior Drive to Rutherford Boulevard. I mean, just those projects alone, once they get done, those state highways get widened.
Connect Warrior Drive to
Rutherford.
Rutherford.
North Rutherford. So you've got Rutherford Boulevard that crosses, goes beside Wendy's and crosses South
Right.
Church.
Okay.
It'll connect back in that way. So it'll have
I got
another
you.
way
I
to
got
get
you.
across 24. 'Cause
Okay.
the bad thing about Church Street is there's no way to avoid Church Street traffic. So once you're on Church Street at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I lived out there for 15 years.
Sure.
There's no way to avoid that traffic on Church Street. So
No,
this gives
we're out South Church as well. Yeah, the wife and I are, and it's our children too, and it's crowded.
Yeah, the west side of town in Blackman, the north side of town going towards Siegel.
Anywhere you go, Sean.
You can
Yeah.
kind of bypass through neighborhoods and get through Blackman and Siegel area driving through neighborhoods. There's
That's
none of,
for me and you, but
Yeah.
people that have just moved
yeah,
here.
I've lived here my whole life. I can find
I'm
ways
telling
through.
you.
My
Sure.
wife constantly will tell me, "Where are you going?" And I'm going here. I'm going the same place you're going. I'm just avoiding all that traffic.
Right, yeah, sure. We have a caller on the line. Jackson, go ahead and put our caller on. Caller, go ahead. You're on with Sean Wright. Go ahead.
Hi there. Hey, Mr. Councilman, I hope you're having a fine evening.
You as well.
I do want to commend some of your work that you and the City Council have done for our infrastructure so far, even though I know that all of us can agree that there hasn't been enough done.
We're still working on it.
Well, I didn't think you weren't. I
Yeah.
hope not.
Yeah.
But but I do have a question that has been weighing heavily on me. Of course, I'm a voter here. I'm going to be making some determinations on August 1st, and I understand that there are, I think, 4 other people, or maybe 3 other people that you're running against that can also be on the council as well. And from what I understand, there are 2 people who did not vote for an ordinance that cost the city $500,000. Now, Mr. Wright, before you give a rebuttal, I would like to state that I'm aware of the moralistic argument for such ordinance, and I'm also aware that, as Mr. Wade said, Councilman Wade said, we have to have rules for everybody. I'm well aware of these arguments. Like, nobody's arguing that we shouldn't have rules or that we shouldn't have a moralistic stance one way or the other. I understand you were in the majority in that vote, and then right before Christmas, I think you voted to repeal it unanimously. Now, do you think that there was a lack of foresight in your vote? Now, not because you thought it was good for the city. No, I don't think anybody's arguing that point about what you believed, and we get it. I think all of us get it. We get it. You thought it was good for the city, and that's what you believed moralistically. But could you have known that it would cost the city $500,000? I mean, and if you did, why did you vote for it anyway? Were you briefed on how constitutional this ordinance may have been? And I also want to preface you, sir. I'm not calling it as an angry caller. I'm not trying to berate you. I generally just want to know about the cost of the lawsuit, and if you would have done anything differently, knowing what you know now. And I don't necessarily think that your moralistic stance or the formalistic stance of it, we needing rules for everybody is going to make a difference in this conversation that we're going to have. I just want to know if you'd have done anything differently had you known the cost it would have put on us as taxpayers, because there's only a few ways you can get money, right?
Sure.
But again, thank you for the roads. Thank you for voting for that stuff. But I mean, do you think that it also kind of sent a message to other people in the community that may not be in the majority? I know that the majority often rules in these things, but sir, this cost us $500,000, and it kind of hurts some people because we all have different opinions on what happened in the video, and we all have different opinions on what is gyration or what isn't. And I get the moralistic argument, but I don't buy why you guys did that.
Sure.
Caller,
stay on the,
thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We're going to let Sean answer. Is that okay with you?
That's totally fine with me. I'm
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate your call. Sean, this has caused, needless to say, this has caused some.
Absolutely.
$500,000 is a lot of money.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the question. And look, I don't think there's a person up there that knowing what we know now would have made the same decision we made then that we made now. There's 7 of us, and I don't think that anybody would be making the same decision now knowing what we know now.
Old hindsight's always 2020. Yeah, right.
And just to be clear, it did not cost the taxpayers $500,000. There was some insurance money involved there also. So the $500,000 number was the settlement number, but that was not what it cost taxpayers. Now, there may be insurance premium increases and stuff like that go along with it, but that's not a total cost. Now, as council members, we have to go by the facts of what our city manager advises us and what our city attorney advises us. And if they're saying, hey, this is something we need to do to protect us in the future, that's something we got to protect us in the future. You brought up the videos. Look, I talked to somebody who was at the event. I don't even think I was in town for the event. I think I was actually on vacation. I had a person I've known for 10 or 12 years at the time. She had about a 10 or 12-year-old child, and she was at the event. She is of the LGBTQ lifestyle, and she called me the very next day of that event and said this was advertised as a family-friendly event, and I brought my child to this family-friendly event. Right. And it was definitely not family-friendly. And I go, okay.
In what respect?
I again, everybody saw the video, the little short video that kind of went viral about it.
Now, I have not seen that. No, I haven't. Not that I know of.
I think you can find it on YouTube, maybe. But there was whatever caused gyration or twerking or whatever you want to call it.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, and one person can say it's offensive, one person can't. I wasn't there. The only people that know what really happened that night were the people that were there. I can tell you that over the course of several months, we advised our city attorney and the city manager, hey, we have no problem with Borough Pride continuing. Please meet with Borough Pride, bring Borough Pride to the table. Here's our issues with the drag show. There were three choices for the drag show. One, please if they want to keep it on a public park, make it 18 and up, give people wristbands. If there's going to be twerking or gyrate, whatever you want to call it, I don't care if it's a drag queen, a female model, a male model, whatever persuasion that person is, dancing or gyrating or twerking. If it's not age appropriate, just put a wristband on, make it, and keep it on the park. If you don't want to do that, move it to a private venue, and if the private venue wants to let it all ages in, then it's on the private venue, not on the taxpayers.
Now, in this case, they took it to MTSU.
Right, but they took it to MTSU, and I think they abided by the taking it to a private venue, the drag show part to a private venue. And then the third option was, if Borough Pride's going to continue, just either do one of those two options or don't do the drag show, but we want Borough Pride to continue. And all 7 council members, including the mayor, I'm calling the mayor one of the 7.
Right.
All 7 of us were very vocal, both in public meetings, on the newspaper, everything, that we wanted Borough Pride to continue. We had no desire for that not to continue. There was just this aspect of what is quote unquote age appropriate.
Right.
And and I don't like I said, I don't think you can go back to the Mr. Shacklin and Miss Averwater did not vote for the decency ordinance. Bill voted against it twice. Jamie voted against it once and wasn't there for the second one. But I don't think the other 5 of us, knowing what we know now, going back, I don't think any of us make that same decision. But we were making a decision based off what the city manager and the city attorney told us needed to be done for the future.
Okay. We're going to talk more about that. Caller, I don't know if you're still there or not. Thank you for the call. Okay, thank you. We're going to go to our first series of breaks, okay? And we're going to hear from our sponsors. Thank you, caller, for that, and we appreciate it. Sean Wright is our guest. He's running for a second term on the Murfreesboro City Council. We're going to go to our first series of breaks. Ed Raymer for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, back with you right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, and we are back with current Murfreesboro City Councilman Sean Wright. He's here with us. Sean, thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
I know, thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate it. Glad to have you here. Okay, the Borough Pride, I figured we might get a question on that. You said something about the city manager. The people need to understand something. In reality, the city manager outranks our mayor, correct?
The city manager runs the city day to day. I mean,
right.
Shane does a lot of work, so I'm not trying to disparage Shane
I understand,
at all.
But the current system is what we've got.
The current system is what we have. The city manager is the person who runs the city day to day. Now, he answers to the 7 of us, but he is the one who runs the city day to day. And he makes decisions on the city's behalf day to day, on day-to-day operations. That's his job.
Right. So
and our Craig Tyndall, who was the city manager at that time, will not be the city manager any longer as of June the 30th.
Now, he resigned, and it was not over any of this.
It was not over any of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've noticed the papers see, I live out in the county, so I can't vote. I couldn't vote for you if I wanted to.
Right.
Okay, I can't. My wife and I live out in the county. But The new city. Do you have a new city manager yet?
Darren Gore, who was the head of Water Resources, will be the new city manager as of July the 2nd.
July 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And you said this was taken care of under as far as the $500,000 was taken care of under a bond.
There was some insurance. There was an insurance premium. Now, not all of it, but a large portion of it was insurance money.
Okay. All right. Insurance company footed the bill for a portion
Right.
thereof.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, well, it wouldn't be Rutherford County and it wouldn't be Murfreesboro if we didn't talk about trash. Now,
Let's talk about it.
the city, and I touched on this with Kurt. You know Kurt Wade. You're one of your
He
one
sits
of your
right next to me.
fellows sit right next to you, and on the city council. And Waste Away, the company that is supposed to be locating here?
That is supposed to be the company located here, coming up sometime before the end of 25, 26 time frame. And Ed, if you remember me coming on 4 years ago, I was talking about how I would really like to see a company come in and do some incineration type product where you
Sure.
could sell a byproduct. And Waste Away is not an incinerator, but it's of that same ilk. I mean, they're going to put 100% of the trash into this product. 10% will be taken to the landfill just because it's not recyclable and can't be turned into a product. About 20% is recycled out of this machine.
Okay.
And then 70% is put into this process that can either make a coal burning alternative or a natural gas alternative, and they sell those products to users to help bring down the cost of the trash production. So long term, we may be able to get back to where we have little to no trash expenses, where city taxpayers currently are paying, I think it's 11 and a quarter now per trash can per month.
Yeah, boy, I forget what it is. I don't know. Like I said, I'm out in the county. I'm
Right.
sorry, I don't know. I should know, I guess, but I don't. Now, to do this though, costs money.
It costs money. Now we have the Waste Away is a company.
Yes,
And
they are.
so what we are
And don't they have the place? They're in
Morrison.
Morrison. Okay.
Yep.
Up
And
around McMinnville.
there's another one going in. I think it's in Bakersfield, California. It's either in Bakersfield, California, or something in Washington.
Right.
There's another. They're doing another big one out west.
Okay.
And this is supposed to be no effect to the taxpayers somehow. We'll figure that out. The budget's still got to come in front of us, so there may be some changes
Sure.
down the line. But
Because this machinery that goes in to do this is not
it's
cheap.
not free. Yeah, it's not cheap, and they're doing it as a capital project that they're going to plan to make money on. The thing is, when we provide the trash that they need, in this one site can do 140 tons of trash a year. So is what they need minimum to run this facility.
Right.
And so we're going to send all the trash to them. Like I said, 10% is going to be pushed to a landfill somewhere, 20% will be recycled, and 70% goes to this making of this byproduct. And this is an expensive project, and they've got upfront costs and some monthly costs, and we just supply the trash that they send back.
Now, I do know just a wee bit about this because this is going out by where we live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's out South Church.
On Butler Drive.
Butler Drive. I get that mixed up. One side's Warrior, other side's Butler. I always got to stop and think. But on Butler Drive, this is the proposed location. Looks like it's, I don't know if this is a done deal. Y'all have got some property there, or they have, or whatever.
So here's where the done deal is. There will be a
Okay.
transfer station on that site. That is the done deal part.
Okay.
In case Waste Away doesn't work and something happens and Mount Trashmore out here closes down, we're going to have to transfer our trash somewhere else. That piece of property the city of Murfreesboro bought for a transfer station. So at minima, that will be a transfer station where we would haul trash and then they would transfer it to a landfill somewhere else. If Waste Away works, the Waste Away facility will be there
Right.
on that site.
Now, from what little bit I've seen of the facility in Morrison, This is a pretty clean operation.
Oh, it's clean. If you're
Yeah.
standing outside, and I've been there, so I can
Sure.
speak on authority. If you're standing outside that building, you would not be able to tell that trash is inside that building. I mean, it is.
Right.
Well, what is it called? Zero air, when the doors open and the air blows down, where it doesn't let anything.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I
whatever
don't
it's
know,
called.
whatever they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the way this works is, it is a big building. Looks like just every other industrial building.
Sure.
A truck pulls up to it. The door opens. The truck drives in, dumps its load on a quote unquote conveyor belt, whatever you're going to
Right.
do, and people start sorting the trash. And like I said, it's that 70-20-10 mix, and they do the thing. The trash leaves. This is a 30-minute process,
Man.
and
That's-
they're gone. There is no trash storage on this site whatsoever.
That's going to employ a lot of people.
It's going to employ a lot of people.
Sure. Do you know what they employ in Morrison right now?
Morrison is a lot smaller operation
Sure,
than
right.
ours.
Well, naturally,
and I don't know what their employment is down there, but this is I mean, this can be really game changing. And I mean, think about this. This is a 90% green trash disposal system. This is better.
Right.
A lot of people don't know, when you pay for recycling at the curb or whatever, if one piece of that trash or that recycling is tainted, whether it's a Sprite bottle that's still got Sprite in it or something like that,
Sure.
they have to trash that whole load. It is no longer recyclable. So this system right here is 90% green. It is more green than if you recycled stuff at your house every single day.
Right. I do know that it is it's very popular, and I know it's been a complicated process.
Very much.
But I think somewhere out in Nevada, a crew went out there. Maybe some guys from the county went there 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And well, because former County Mayor Bill Ketron showed me some information on it. I think they were out there, and but it's expensive.
It's
to
expensive.
get started.
Right.
To get
and,
started.
And the what Ketron was looking at was a little different. He was looking at a composting alternative. So
Okay.
it was
Okay.
a little bit different process, but it is $80 million or something like that. That number
It's way
rings
up there.
true.
100 million is
Yeah.
in the ballpark.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Everything has gone up.
Yeah, everything's gone up. So
exponentially.
but for the city of Murfreesboro, this is going to be a great. I mean, if any of you have woken up at any time and smelt the odors coming off of
Yeah, I know. Out of what we call Mount Trashmore. Yeah, right.
And hopefully we don't have to deal with that coming up in the next couple of years, and we have this alternative that we can be kind of revolutionaries in the country about the way we get rid of our waste and the way we are doing it environmentally.
Right. So, I don't want to put you on the button here. I mean, any timetable on this as of now, because I know there's so many hoops to jump through.
If all goes well, I mean, we're looking at something end of 25, early 26. I mean, this could
Okay.
happen very quickly, and
That's pretty quick.
yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is, when does Mount Trashmore close? Because
Right.
we have to have an alternative up and running before it closes.
Sure. Yeah, and it's got to be tried and true and proven. And
That's right. So
Yeah, okay. Well, we might. It should be up. Ain't none of that going to work.
No.
It's got to work.
there is no kicking the can down the road. We know that facility has somewhere between 1 and 5 years left.
Well, that's what one of our guests said. We've kicked the can so far down the road, it's become a barrel. You can't kick it anymore.
That's right. It cannot be kicked anymore.
I mean, and we just did not know. And I know a lot of my regular listeners have heard me say this. Maybe you're tired of hearing it, but it's a fact. They did not ever envision that we would have growth. When you were growing up around here, you didn't ever
I
figure
mean,
we'd ever.
when I was growing up down here, do you know how far out in town, how far out of town
I know.
that area of town was?
Well, that's where our house was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the time we got done, we had an annexation sign up out there 27 years ago. And Bob Parks had put a development out there, which is Stevens Bend, which is a great facility, beautiful subdivision, wonderful folks, great kids and folks, families, good roads, sidewalks, all that good
Right.
stuff. But it was all woods.
Well, I was talking
hills and
about.
hollers.
I was going to the other side, where Mount Trashmore is. Even when I was a kid, where Mount Trashmore
Okay, you
was.
were here because I didn't move here till 1980, so I mean you know a lot more probably about some of the history than I do.
Yeah, but Stevens Bend, I mean, I remember when I was in high school, anything past Warrior Drive was the country.
It's country.
Yeah,
That's the
country.
reason we went out there.
That's
yeah,
right.
We were in, we're out in the county, and we were on Haley's Drive. It was Haley's View, Section 2. Mm-hmm. There's only about 35, 40 houses in that small area out there. Some of them directly in our community, others not. There's only one way in, one way out.
Right.
Okay. So, at that point, the community started growing even more
That's
than
right.
we'd ever seen. I mean, for goodness sakes, when we moved out there, our son had a beagle hound. We would go over and hunt rabbits,
Wow. Yeah.
And then Mr. Parks bought it, and Nick called him one day and said, "Look, Mr. Parks, we'd like to know if we can still hunt." And he said, "Well, of course, Bob didn't know what season is it." He said, "I never know." He said, "Well, right now, Mr. Parks, the rabbit season." He said, "Sure, go ahead. I don't care." At that time, nothing was being.
Right.
They weren't doing any
Right.
construction. But no, that's how recent it's been. I say recent. That was 25 years ago.
Yeah,
But
I mean, that's fairly recent still. I mean, that's
in terms of history, yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty recent.
That's right.
So, needless to say, your folks have probably seen
I
some changes they're proud of. Others they wish they hadn't seen. I'm sure
that's right.
everybody's got an opinion, and
I mean, I remember as a kid watching the fireworks when it was at Old Fort Park before it moved to MTSU, and the whole community lining up their cars on Old Fort Parkway before the mall was
sure, yeah.
there. And watching the fireworks, and everybody got in their car and drove down Old Fort Parkway back into town. And I mean,
It was all rock, and everybody said, "Well, we'll never see anything there." Well,
right.
drive out there tonight.
You're sitting with all the cars out there tonight.
Now, okay, let me ask you. And by the way, the city sent out some flyers over the waste away thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, I didn't even pay much attention to it because it's so far down the road. And I think y'all were going to have some hearings or something
We've had
on it.
We've had a ton of hearings already.
I figured you had enough people coming up to pontificate. You don't need some guy from the radio station.
Come on down anytime.
No, I don't know. I'll have you all up here. You're welcome to come here, but I get into enough of that just out and about in public,
Sure.
and you will get me in trouble. I guarantee you with somebody this week.
I may get you in trouble with somebody this week.
Okay, whatever, but I didn't really. I don't. I try to stay as neutral on things like that as I can. But it is going to be literally. It's right in our back door, So hopefully this thing will. But I've looked at the videos. They are on YouTube, if you want to see them about this waste away. It's quite an operation.
Well, I'll say this too, and I know there's a group of people that have really well intentions out that direction that are passing out some flyers and putting signs up. There is a lot of misinformation on those flyers. I know.
Okay, I have not seen one yet.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
So I'll tell anybody this: if you want to know what's really going on, give any of my counterparts or myself a call. Give Darren Gore. This is Darren Gore's baby, the new city manager. This is his baby. He's been working hard on this for several years. Give any of us a call. We will clear out what's fake and what's not, and what's real and what's not. This could be used for Murfreesboro, and it is environmentally friendly. It is. We are not storing trash. It has no odor. It has a great alternative to the landfill that we currently have.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about books.
All right. Let's talk about books.
What brought on the decision to pull books off the shelf?
So let me give some history on this, because there needs to be, and I sit on the library board, so I can answer this probably better than all the rest of the council members because I sit on the board.
Sure.
The library has taking books off the shelf. This was not a first thing for them, and I've only been on the library board for 2 years, so I can give you 2 years worth of history, but I can give you some backstory. The library has taken 10 other books off the shelves in the last 8 years.
Okay.
And the way this process works is Ed Raymer, Sean Wright, Joe Smith, anybody walks into the library and looks at a book and goes, "Man, this is not appropriate for the library. I want them to look at this."
Now, when you say a library,
the Rutherford County system, which would be Lineball, the Tech Center, the library inside Patterson Park, the Smyrna Library, and the Eagleville Library.
okay,
That
All right.
nothing for school libraries. We have no control over the school libraries. That would be on the school board, the 2 school boards.
Okay.
But the Rutherford County Library System, there's a board of 11 people, and those 11. So the way this process works is a book comes in that gets complained about.
Sure.
The library staff first looks at it and goes, yes, this needs to be looked at further. No, it doesn't need to be looked at further. Then the library administration team looks at that same book, and they said yes, no, whatever. They hand that book over to the library board, and the library board has the final call on what happens with these books. I've been on the library board for 2 years in September, and we've probably had over 100 books complained about in those 2 years.
Right.
There have been 4 that have been pulled. And those 4 that have been pulled, and I don't know how, I'm going to try to say this as nicely as possible since we're on the radio.
Sure.
3 of the 4 books told that were in the 12 to 17-year-old section of the library had instructions on how to tell a 12 to 17-year-old kid how to get on an app like Grindr and have intimate relations with an adult. Like detailed instructions on how to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
That was 3.
Sex.
Sex. I didn't know if that was allowed to be said on the
You can
radio.
say whatever you want. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
within reason. Yeah.
So I didn't know if this was like George Carlin, the 7 where
No, I don't. Well, I'm not Howard Stern, okay? But yeah, go ahead. I understand.
So those 3 and were taken out, and the 4th one that was taken out, it was I'm going to say it's a comic book, but it was a pornographic comic book. I mean, it was like something a 12-year-old boy would try to go under his dad's bed and find.
Okay.
And so those 4 were removed because there was, and I'll tell you this, I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, where are you? I can tell you that library board is not full of right wingers.
Okay.
That vote on these books, and it was a unanimous decision to take those 4 independent books out.
Right.
And if you saw, and I'll give this example, Mayor McFarland put photographic copies of those books, four of those books, on Facebook and Twitter to say, these are the books that the library had to remove from the library.
Okay.
And Facebook and Twitter both took those down because they were past the decency rules of Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Those are the only 4 books that were removed. Every single other book of those other 100 have either been reclassified to the adult section, have not made a change whatsoever, or just said, yeah, these books are fine. So 4 out of over 100. And when you look at those 4 books, like I said, no matter where you are politically, when you look at those 4, you can kind of go, I can kind of see why those were looked at a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
And so
I have no idea which ones you're talking about. I don't.
One of them is called Let's Talk About It. One's called Flamer, and I don't remember what the other 2 books were called.
Right.
At first, people were saying, well, this is an attack on LGBTQ. I can tell you for 100% certainty, that had nothing to do with any of those 4 decisions, and it was talked about in those meetings that those were talked about, that it wasn't anything to do with those topics. And there's been other books since those 4 books that were LGBT topics, that were in that 12 to 17-year-old age group, that are still in the 12 to 17-year-old age group, and they're still there. It just happened to be that those 4 books were very intimate.
Okay.
And, I mean, look, I don't want my kid walking into a library and picking up there's a TV show called To Catch a Predator, and this book was telling kids how to go have sex with an adult around their parents' back. 3 of those books. So those are hard to argue.
Sure.
Now, nobody's going after To Catch a Rye or Mockingbird or any the classics. They're the classics. They're still in the library. They're still there. It was just those.
But don't you have to have some permission to check some of those books out?
So the way the library board has tried to help some of this situation, and we're trying to be fair to everybody, is we now have age-appropriate library book cards that are in 3 sections: 0 to 12, I think, 12 to 17, and then adult. If you as a parent want your kid to be able to look at books that aren't in their age group, you go in there and say, yes, my kid can get whatever book they want to get. Fine, go.
Sure.
Done.
Okay.
But the default is age appropriateness, with the parent being able to override the age appropriateness. So if the parent says we want our kids to be able to look at anything, they have the right to do that.
Okay. All right. Then they can override the whole.
They can override the whole
The
system.
whole system.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We get Jackson in here. We're going to go to our last series of breaks when he gets a chance. He's in the middle of something right now. Caller, we had a caller call just a while ago. I don't know if you made it through on the line or not. You're welcome. Please try and call back. Occasionally we run into a snag up here. Please feel free to call back. I saw the light flashing. So, who would have ever thought 20 years ago people would have come and wanted to go to Eagleville? And yes, I think I want to live there, And so many kids have gone down there because of the school system. It is
Great school.
It's one of the first self-contained K through 12. They did the whole thing.
That's right.
I mean, and it's fantastic.
Well,
and a great community.
I agree, and
And
I
you're
like
expanding the roads even more.
even more.
Yeah.
99 is going to be 5 lanes all the way almost to where the Rockville schools are. So I mean that's going to be a great thoroughfare all the way to Rockville,
Sure.
and then
Yeah.
another 10 minutes down the road to Eagleville.
It's not far at all.
I like to say, as a realtor looking at this, I look at Eagleville at what Nolensville was 10 or 12 years ago. And,
Sure.
And
Right.
I see a lot of correlations between Eagleville and Nolensville.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you could have got on the ground level of Nolensville's growth 10 or 12 years ago, you would have made a giant sack of money by living in one of those houses 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And now
Yeah.
looking at Eagleville and just the start of it, I think Eagleville's 10 or 12 years away from being Nolensville.
You may be right. I'm telling you. I happen to know that guy Pettis Reed. It's their councilman out there, or their county commissioner. Yeah,
Great guy.
he said he's got a huge family. He said it can be a bit of a pain. He said, but around election time, it's great.
He can count some votes.
Sean Wright's with us. Jack is on the board. We're going to our final break. I'm Ed Raymer for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these commercials from our fine sponsors. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, we're back. Thank you, Jackson. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Jay Mullins, Tim, thank you for what you do. To Complete Yard Care, thank you. All of you. Without you, we couldn't do it. We thank you so much for your continued support. Sean Wright is with us, and he's running for a second term to the Murfreesboro City Council. What else you got going? We've got here about 15 minutes left, and talk about what you'd like to. What are you going to do, and how can people reach you, first of all?
So alexshawnwright.com, and that's my website. And my phone number, I'm easy to get a hold of. My number is 615-838-0653. You've got a question for me, just give me a call. I mean, my number is easy enough to find online, so just look me up. But I think a couple big things we've got going on in the city in the future, especially continuing on, we've got to continue handling this smart growth, building infrastructure as we grow. We've got a West Side Park development that is coming up for a park for the west side of town. We're talking pavilions, dog park, a outside venue where there's somebody wanted to have like Uncle Dave Macon Days or a arts and Shakespeare in the park or something like that. It's gonna have pickleball courts, walking trails, playground, multi-use field. So we've got that on the horizon. We hope to have a shovel in the ground by the end of the year on that park.
Okay.
So we've got a realignment. We've been talking about infrastructure earlier in the show. We've got medical center being realigned, but we've also got looking at making Wilkerson Pike and Asbury Lane come into a roundabout at Conference Center Drive, where both of those roads would enter at Conference Center Drive.
Okay.
Instead of that terrible Asbury Medical Center intersection.
Right.
It would be a signalized intersection. One thing I've been really working on. Everybody knows that terrible intersection on Old Fort Parkway across from Target. You would turn there to go back to DoubleTree or Home Depot.
Yeah, right.
So something I've been working on the past year is to have that intersection closed.
Okay.
I mean,
I would guess the police spend a lot of time there.
That is the most dangerous intersection in Murfreesboro. I myself was in a terrible car wreck on that intersection about 12 years ago. I've had city staff working with the state the past year. As we widen Old Fort Parkway to 6 lanes, let's just go ahead and close that intersection. And
you're talking about where it comes out beside where the bank used to be.
Where the bank used to be.
Right,
there's a coffee shop going in right there now. Right there where the bank used to be. That is a terrible location for a coffee shop.
But it might not be if you close that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but if you close that intersection, it'd be a great location for a coffee shop.
Sure.
But so that's something I've been working on about a year. I want to see that to fruition. I want to see West Side Park to fruition. I want to see the continued infrastructure. Like I said, I'm 7th generation here. I don't like all my family members calling me and going, "I'm stuck in traffic again. Do something about this."
Well, yeah, we are.
Yeah. One thing the city schools do, I hear a lot of complaints about the public school, the county schools about we got all these portables, we can't build schools fast enough.
Right.
But look, the city schools, we do a good job. When we need a school, we build a school. We fund it and build a school.
Sure.
You don't see any portables at any of our city schools. None of them.
Right.
So let's continue with that. Education is important. I'm coming from this as a parent, as an elected official, as a realtor.
Where do your children attend school?
So I have my 18-year-old just graduated the IB program at Oakland, and I have a kid at Siegel Middle School, and I have 2 kids at Overall Creek Elementary. My wife is a special ed teacher, and that's where she teaches. So my kids go to school with her.
Public education.
Public education. All 4 kids public educated. My oldest is going to University of Tennessee Knoxville next year, hoping to be an attorney.
Where did you graduate high school?
Oakland High School.
That's the problem. Okay.
So I'm also a product of the city schools. I went to Mitchell Nelson Primary Elementary K through 6. I went to a lot of people don't know this unless you're from here. Cason Lane Academy, when it first opened, was year round, and it was K through 8.
It was, yeah.
And I was the first 2 years it was open. I was in 7th and 8th grade there, year round. And the first year I was there, the school wasn't ready to open, so they put half the school at Black Fox in the gymnasium and half the school in Northfield in the gymnasium, and I was in the Northfield gymnasium for half that year. So, city schools K through 8, Oakland High School 9th through 12th, and then I've got degrees from MTSU, Memphis, and UT. So I've got myself publicly educated the whole time.
UT. Memphis,
and
there's more. There's more of the problem. I'm educated in the state of Kentucky, in as much as that is possible. And but I am a licensed driver, and they let me vote. Yes,
me too. It's shake and bake, and I helped.
I'm telling you. Well, that's great. And what do you do Sean, let me ask you, because I know your family's involved in real estate and all that. We talked about that, but what do you do?
So I'm a real estate broker. I run 3 real estate companies, one in Murfreesboro, one in Manchester, one in Tullahoma. I've got 71 agents that work for me. They want to take care of people, whether they're buying or selling a house, or they're small business owners looking for a commercial location. And we help the average man, the average woman with their home ownership dreams and their small business dreams. That's what we do. And it's great to help people as they progress here, as they grow up here and they want to live here, or if they're moving from somewhere else and moving here, we want to be able to help them as they move here.
You know, I've felt for several years now, because I've worked cases down in the Manchester area, I feel right now that Manchester is becoming to us like we were a few years ago to, say, Nashville.
It is absolutely
It's a wonderful place to be.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful people. Some pretty good hometown restaurants down there. Great food. It's just it's a good area.
You hit the nail on the head. It is Murfreesboro 25 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it really. I don't know. I just always liked that area, and I like all the areas around.
Right.
But Manchester's just. It's got a good feel. Like I said, I go Eagleville, same way.
Same way.
Got that small town. It's that Mayberry feel. You know what I'm saying? But
absolutely,
we don't have that anymore. And it's we try to and all you guys and the guys and gals on the county commission, you try your best, but you can't stop these people from coming in here. They're still coming.
Look, we could try to stop growing tomorrow and say, look, nobody else is moving here.
Right.
And guess what? It's not stopping.
It's not going to stop.
If Nashville
They'll find a way.
If Nashville continues to be the hot city that it is nationwide,
that's right.
We are going to get the runoff. We're Nashville's biggest suburb.
That's right.
And so, look, I'm one of the people that when I'm out of town, when somebody asks where I'm from Murfreesboro. I'm not from Nashville.
And I run into that when we go down, when we vacation in Panama City, used to, well, where are you from? Years ago, well, we're from the Nashville area. Now you're from Murfreesboro.
I've always been from
Murfreesboro. We're home to MTSU.
That's right.
I ran into a young girl. I'm sure if you're familiar with the Redneck Riviera, as we call it.
Yeah, absolutely. I go there every
year.
year.
Stay in a condo down there, and Alvin's out. Our daughter had to always go. She still goes there. She's a grown woman. She still got to go to Alvin's.
It is a yearly thing for us to go see those alligators.
Day. Yeah, it'll never stop.
That's right.
But came out of there, and these kids, they all get together. Kids, they don't care where you're from or what. All nationalities, makes no difference.
That's right.
You got one of these things here. I'm holding a cell phone up, folks. They talk all over the country.
That's
anymore,
right.
And this girl had on an MTSU shirt. I said, "Oh, you attend NPSU?" Oh no, I said, "I just like shirts. I hear MTSU. It's just a cool school."
Wow, that is so cool.
That's unbelievable. That was 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow, that is so cool.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and I think the folks that owned Pineapple Willie's, I believe they were from here. Now, I don't know if they still own it or not.
I don't know. I can find that out. I don't know that.
I think they used to. They were from here or at one time. And, of course, it's all so big now. Condominiums everywhere. And it's, but it is amazing. And we tell people, we're from Murfreesboro. And they want to know. And I told Bart Walker this one time. We had a Christmas get together. Said, but do you tell them where you're from? I said, no. They want to. We're from Murfreesboro.
We're from Murfreesboro.
We're coming to Murfreesboro.
That's right.
We're not going, we got to go through Nashville, but we'll be in Murfreesboro. That's where we'll be staying. And this summer, spring fling thing with the sports, this soccer is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And we're like the soccer capital of the state now.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and people, I had a good friend. I had no idea his kid was on Sunday. He said, man, y'all got some great soccer facilities down. So what are you talking about? We were raised up there in Western Kentucky, up there in coal mining area, up there in Hopkins County, Webster County. That's where I graduated from, Webster County, Union County, Christian County, all that up in there. And he's down here going to a soccer field because his son played soccer.
Have you seen that indoor facility they have out there?
I have not seen it.
It is just drive by it. I mean, it is an indoor soccer field.
Now, aren't we putting one over on the other side on the Veterans Parkway in that area? Or
No, so
where am I at?
The one that was going to go on Veterans Parkway out there
Okay.
ended up at Siegel, and it is the TSSA, not the TSSAA, run that facility.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Okay. I don't know if we got a call or not. We'll see. Do we? We do have a call. We have a caller on the line. Caller, you got 4 minutes. Go ahead.
It'll be quick, Ed. It's Terry again.
Hello, Terry. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I just wanted to ask the councilman what he thought about these local politicians taking credit for bills that they voted against.
Can you give me an example?
Oh, a lot of these local representatives and state people and federal people that are on the opposite side of the spectrum, for example.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I can't take credit for anything that I voted against. I mean, I hope every vote that passes that I voted against, I hope it does well, but I don't usually take credit for something I don't vote for, but I don't know where these individuals are coming from, so I don't want to put words in their mouth.
Well, and Terry, I think I know what you're talking about. You know, Mitch McConnell voting against. You're talking about on a federal level too, I believe. Correct.
Yes.
And Mitch McConnell standing up there when they finally rebuild that bridge between Ohio and Kentucky, which I don't know if you've been across it or not. Our son's been on it. It's rickety, man.
It's been a long time since I've been on it, but it was rickety then.
Yeah, he said, I'm always glad. I had a friend that moved back, and he said, I'm sure glad when we get over that bridge. Because it's really, I mean, but then McConnell will be standing out there taking full credit. I know what you're talking about.
So I'll give a case in point. I voted against this development on Broad Street, not the park across the street, but where the old city hall was and the fire admin, where
Gotcha.
WGNS is moving over to this development.
Yeah.
I voted against that development. I hope it does great. I hope it does everything that everybody desires it to be. But being a downtown person with a lot of love for downtown and a lot of love, it is going to systematically change the feel of downtown to me in a negative way. And on top of that, we sold city property to an apartment complex developer when the average Murfreesboro citizen doesn't want any more apartments. So for those two reasons,
all right,
I voted against it. Now,
and you stand beside that.
I stand beside it everywhere I go. I voted against it. I'm happy I voted against it.
Okay.
But I am going to be happy if it works out the way everybody else wants it to be, because it has the ability to be great for Murfreesboro. But I voted against it, and I'll stand beside that I voted against it. I would vote against it again tomorrow.
Okay. Terry, does that satisfy you?
Yeah, and I like what he said about planned growth and development.
That's what I've...
Because a lot of the people, all they want is growth for profit. They don't care about raping the land and surrounding farmland, and the zoning is just straight up. So
right.
I appreciate this comment.
Well, I've got 4 years of track record on that planned development and smart growth, and we've cut apartment complexes from 48 to 300. I've taken an 8-unit development down to 4 units on smart development.
Okay.
I think that's what we ought to continue to do is grow we're all in this together. Let's grow this thing together.
Terry, I'm going to have to let you go. We've got 1 minute left. Thank you for your call, and thank you for your continued support of this broadcast. I really appreciate it. All right. Sean Wright's been our guest. He's running for a second term on Murfreesboro City Council. Jackson's done another good job on the board. Sean, have a good week.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And folks, until next Sunday at 8 o'clock, this is Ed Raymer for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, and I'll catch you down the road. Good night.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network. WGNS Murfreesboro. W270AF Murfreesboro. W263AI Murfreesboro, Smyrna.